Welcome to the Legacy Project podcast, where we explore the stories that shape who we are and how we pass those stories forward. I'm your host, Don Fessenden, and joining me once again is our thoughtful and insightful intern, Harper.
Hi, everyone. Today's episode is especially meaningful because we're talking about one of the most foundational parts of any life story: the strength of family bonds. These aren't just relationships, they're roots, connections, and often the very heart of our legacy.
Well said, Harper. Family can be complex, no doubt, but within those complexities are moments of deep love, resilience, and connection that deserve to be written down and remembered. In today's episode, we'll walk through how to write about those moments in a way that honors the truth, celebrates the strength, and captures the soul of what family really means. When you think about your life story, where does your family show up? For many of us, family is present from the very first chapter, but it's more than just names or a family tree. It's the feeling of your grandmother's kitchen, the sound of your siblings' laughter echoing down the hall, the quiet strength of a parent who worked 3 jobs so you could have a better life. These moments carry weight, and when you write your legacy, you're not just recounting them, you're preserving them.
That gives me chills. I think sometimes we overlook the everyday interactions that shape us. The way someone always picked you up from school, or how your cousin was your partner in crime every summer. It's in the ordinary that we often find the extraordinary.
Exactly, and that's the goal. Capture the humanity, the rituals, the traditions, and the trials. It's not about painting a perfect picture, it's about telling the truth with love and reflection. If you're sitting down to write about your family, start with a single memory, one that stands out. A family meal, a road trip, a holiday tradition, a difficult conversation, or a time you felt truly supported. Describe it. Where were you? What did it smell like, sound like, feel like? Who was there, and what were they doing?
I always think of my aunt's living room during the holidays. There was this old record player that only worked when you nudged it just right. But when it came on, it filled the room with music and laughter. That's the kind of detail that brings family to life on the page, right?
Absolutely. That detail is the heartbeat. And when you look at those moments through the lens of legacy, you begin to see how family bonds are woven through time, sometimes held together by stories, sometimes by struggle, but always by shared experience. Let's be honest, family isn't always easy. Writing about challenges, disagreements, or even trauma can be necessary, but it must be done with care. The goal isn't to rewrite history or assign blame, but to honor your truth while respecting the dignity of others.
That balance can be tricky. You want to be honest, but you also don't want to hurt the people you love. I found that focusing on how you grew through those experiences helps keep the writing reflective rather than reactive.
That's a great point. And remember, just because something was hard doesn't mean it wasn't meaningful. Sometimes the strength of family bonds comes from how we recover, how we forgive, and how we choose to move forward together. Family legacy often reaches beyond one generation. If you have stories from grandparents, great-grandparents, or even older siblings who shaped you, include them. These connections across time are powerful. What lessons were passed down? What values? What traditions do you carry that began long before you were born?
My grandfather used to say, "We don't leave behind things, we leave behind people." I never fully understood that until I realized how many of my habits, phrases, and even dreams were shaped by people I'd only heard stories about. That's legacy in motion, right?
Right on the nose. That's legacy living through you. And by writing it down, you keep that thread alive for the next generation. Sometimes writing about family helps us heal. It helps us process losses, mend broken connections, or simply say the things we never got to say. In fact, some of the most moving stories I've read are letters never sent, written to a parent, a sibling, or a child. When we write, we give ourselves the space to feel, and through that feeling, we find understanding.
That makes me think. What if someone listening wants to write about family, but their relationship is still complicated or painful? What do you suggest?
Write from where you are. You don't need to have perfect closure to begin. Start with curiosity. Start with what you wish you could ask. Even just naming the bond, even if it was broken, is a powerful beginning. As we close today, I invite you to think of one moment in your life when you felt held by family, whether it was through laughter, a hug, or even just someone showing up for you. That moment belongs in your story. It's part of your foundation, your identity, your legacy. And remember, your family story doesn't have to be about blood. Chosen family, foster family, friends who became family, they all deserve a place in the narrative if they've shaped who you are.
This has been such a meaningful conversation, Don. I'm feeling inspired to write about my own family bonds, even the messy ones, because they've made me who I am.
That's the spirit, Harper. And for all of you listening, thank you for being here. Your story matters. Your family's story matters. And together, we are building legacies that last. If you want more help structuring your story, you'll find step-by-step guidance in my book, The Legacy Project, a guide to sharing your story. It's never too late to start writing. You just have to begin.
This is the Legacy Project podcast. Keep writing, keep remembering, and as always, keep leaving your mark.